أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. This is Quran series, and it's called Living the Quran, taking Prophet ﷺ as a role model who was the living Quran. We want to learn how to start seeing the Quran as a map for life, as a teacher, as a guide to the purpose of living, the purpose of life on earth. And through the Quran, as we learn to read the Quran together with the creation, in parallel with the creation, which we learned in the first and the second meeting, then we learn to know God as our sustainer, our Rabb. As we know Him, we may choose to surrender to Him because now we trust Him. So fear is transformed into a means to get closer to God. And the emphasis is that we do not know the meaning of life. We do not know what we are doing here on earth. We all think that we know, and we are running after some goals, hoping to get some fulfillment. So everyone is actually wanting to achieve that fulfillment. But through the Quran, we are taught, stop, pause, ask yourself, is it true that you know what's good for you? You know the meaning of life? You know the purpose of what you are doing on earth? And if we are honest with ourselves, we'll find out that we don't know. We're just following everyone else. And actually we're acting in panic because there is that fear of not knowing, the fear of the unknown. And so through the Quran, we are being guided to use that not knowing to seek help. And then when the more we're aware of our need for knowing, the more we will seek the help from God, from the Quran, and the Quran becomes a living guide, a living teacher. It becomes more and more precious and valuable in our life. And one thing that we will always repeat, because it's repeated in the Quran, is, am I the owner of my life? And the truth is that I am not. I am not the owner of my sight, my seeing, my hearing, my understanding, my speaking. I am made to speak now. I am made to see. And the more we reflect on this reality, the more we get to know who God is as our Rabb, the one who makes me see, the one who makes me hear, the one who is breathing life into me right now. So this is what we are going through. In the first one, we went through Bismillah, how to read everything in the name of God. So we start seeing the names of God. If I'm not the seer, the one who is making me see is the seer. The one who is making me know is the knower, the all-knowing. And we start confirming, witnessing and confirming the beautiful names of God. So witnessing, the Shahada, is a conscious living experience. It is not only words. The words are valuable because they remind us of the experience that we are learning day in, day out through the teaching of the Quran. And then we looked at how everything is an ayah, is a signpost. It's a message bearer coming from the Creator here and now. And so nothing is meaningless. And everything, although it's passing, although they are transient, in their transience, they are pointing to eternity. They are pointing to a lastingness. And that's what we all long for. There is no true meaning if it's not lasting. There is no true purpose if it is not lasting. There is no true fulfillment if it is not lasting. And what the Quran is teaching us is that fulfillment, that joy that everyone is seeking and longing for. And we say we don't have the time to study the Quran because we are busy trying to find that fulfillment. And we are told, but the fulfillment is here. I say, I don't have the time now. I'm looking it for myself. And if we just give some time to the Quran, like 1 year, put the Quran at the center, and you will never go back because everything we're looking for is there. So today we want to look at dua. Dua comes from the root da'awa, so calling onto God. And I'm going to look at it in 3 main levels. It does not mean that there are 3 main levels. You can have more levels. It's just how I am going to approach the topic to make it easier to follow. So this is the dua of the believer. So the first level is when we become aware through calling for help and seeking help, that there is someone who hears me, hears my wishes and responds to me, helps me, someone who is looking with care and compassion into my desires. And this is already a huge breakthrough from someone who is like an orphan living in darkness meaning in meaninglessness, in not knowing what life is about, and suddenly you know that there is someone who is all powerful, all compassionate, and I can ask for help, and he, lo and behold, he answers. This is a huge breakthrough. And the second level is when we know that he doesn't only answer from time to time when I'm in trouble and I need help and I'm desperate and I have to look for a source of help. He actually answers all the time, and he takes care of my needs even when I'm not even aware of them. And this opens the door to knowing God with his beautiful names. And this is a wonderful breakthrough, because now God is not some entity that I don't really know, I can't really trust. Now God is someone I know, I have a conversation with. There is more intimacy and closeness. And this brings huge, not only relief and comfort and joy to the human soul, because that's what we need. Just like the body needs food and air and water, the soul needs the beautiful names of God. And the third level is realizing that not only the help is coming from him when I ask, the asking is also from him. I am made to ask. And that's the ultimate surrender, that the beautiful names belong only to God. Because in the beginning, I become aware of the beautiful names of God, but I'm not sure yet that they belong only to him. So it's a stage, they are stages in awareness of the believer. So this asking for help, dua, is fitri. Fitri means it's in the fitra, in the way we are created. It means anyone, wherever they are, whenever we feel that we are in crisis, we really, really need something. Either we want something we desire, or we want help with something we don't desire. We instinctively turn towards a power, someone, something, but instinctively inside, deep down, we know there is someone who we can ask help from. And so this help is accessible. What we want to talk about is how to make dua, and for that, first understand what is dua. Apart from the words we say that we learn anyway, it's easy to learn where they are, and for what purpose. For what purpose? Everyone, if I am ill, I am going to ask for healing. That's already inbuilt in us. The Quran always teaches us something more. It does not repeat what is already in the fitrah. It does not contradict, it builds on it. But it builds something that without the guidance of the Quran, we would not be able to find on our own. So that's what we want to focus on. So the first thing is, we are told, this is repeated in the Quran again and again, that, for instance here, whenever they go on board the ship, they call on God. So this da'aw is da'a, yad'u, dua. This root appears more than 200 times in the Quran. And they dedicate their faith to him alone. This is repeated a lot in the Quran. Mukhlisina lahuddin. It means when you are in that situation, there is no doubt that there is only one that will answer, because I already gave up hope from everything else. But once he has delivered them safely back to land, see how they, in idahum yushrikun, see how they commit shirk, they ascribe partners with God. They start again, the weather was nice, the ship is very strong, it's very big, it's this brand, it's well built, I was lucky. So this, it represents, when you think sea, water and sea, compared to land, how does it feel? On land, we feel safe. It feels like it's grounded. We don't usually think there may be an earthquake. It doesn't happen often, alhamdulillah. But it's a blessing, but it can also be our taking things for granted. So we feel we are in control. But when you go on a ship in the sea, in the ocean, it starts moving, and then there is a storm, we start feeling I am not in control. So this is a metaphor for things happening in our life. We feel everything is happening according to a routine. I know what's going on. I'm in control. And sometimes something happens suddenly. It could be illness. It could be losing a job. It could be someone very close passed away. There are various ways that can shake our sense of being in control and being safe that we built, and it becomes like our bubble and we feel safe there. And suddenly something punctures the bubble. So when that bubble is punctured, all of us, fitratan, we are inclined to ask for help. Even with hands like this, people who don't even believe in God, like in earthquakes, they go on sajda and they ask for help with their hands open. It means it is in the fitra. In the next passage, it says that's because God alone is the ultimate truth, and all that people call instead of him is sheer falsehood. In the beginning, we're still not aware of this. This is something that we will need to confirm. Is it true that everything apart from God is sheer falsehood? Because God alone is exalted, truly great. And then he said, do you not see how the ship speed through the sea by God's favor, so that he might show you some of his signs? So the fact that the ship can travel safely is an ayah, is a sign of God's power, of God's taking care of us. But because we are not aware of it, because either in the beginning we don't even know, afterwards we learn it and we forget, then when we are there and it starts shaking, we feel fear. What's going on now? Behold, there are signs indeed for all who are holy, patient, and deeply grateful. So patience and gratitude in the Islamic tradition, they are the two sides of Iman. Belief in God requires gratitude as well as patience. Gratitude all the time, especially in times of blessings, not taking anything for granted, and patience, especially in times of hardship. And that patience will only come when we know what's going on. Otherwise, it is impossible to. We can at best tolerate what's going on because we can do better, but that's not patience. Patience comes with acceptance, with trust that God knows what he's doing. And 32 is, when the waves engulf them like shadows, they call unto God, sincere in their faith in him alone. But as soon as he has brought them safe ashore, some of them stop halfway. It means they are not fully now committed to God anymore. Yet none could reject our signs except the utterly perfidious ingrate. So even if we don't truly really know who God is, we still ask for help. This fitri dua that's inbuilt in us is the door to the level 1. But the level 1 is already becoming aware of what's going on. And becoming aware is a choice. There is always an inclination. We are always choosing, whether consciously or not, we are choosing actually. When something comes, for instance, I asked for help without even knowing it's God. Please, please, please let me be safe, people say. And then you are safe. Most people, okay, I was lucky. But some people, it happens once, it happens twice, and they say, something is going on. Someone is hearing me. Now we're stepping into belief, into wondering. Someone is hearing me. Like Ibrahim alayhi salam, asking, who is my Rabb? And the moment we start feeling that need and asking those questions, Allah reveals himself to us. Otherwise, the Quran is there, but it won't reveal itself to us. The Quran is protected in the book, it says. Fi kitabin maknoon. It is protected and hidden in the book. Only the purified can get in touch with the Quran. So once we start asking, then answers start showing up. So the conscious choice, even if it's not very conscious in the beginning, it's an inclination towards finding out what's going on. And then the Quran teaches us, because what does it mean that once we are saved, then we go back to shirk? What does it mean? What is shirk? That's putting the trust into something other than God. And we do that all the time without realizing, and that's why we need the help of divine revelation. That's why we need the help of the Quran. We are stuck in the horizontal, we perceive everything horizontally. I am thirsty, I drank, I'm not so thirsty anymore. Must be water. Whatever the Quran is going to teach us is going to build on from the already existing, but adding something that we wouldn't find on our own. Yet it is so reasonable that it's just so easy to say, yes, this is the truth. Let's say this is the best plane, the best ship. Is it the ship that is saving me? The ship cannot make itself, even like the law that is holding the ship and navigating it is not the ship itself. It's following, we say, laws, but who is putting those laws? As we are told again and again in the Quran. That's the journey we want to take. The journey is realizing that my sphere of control, becoming more and more aware of what it really means. So it starts by, I come afterwards. It's easier in the beginning to look outside. It says, other than God, anything that you call for help, for instance, money. The medication is what makes me good. The food is what is making me healthy. Water is what is taking my thirst and sustaining me in life. If you ask water, it's making its shahada. Does it know anything? Can it know my body? Does it have the power to give life? It's not alive itself. And there are lots of verses, ayats about water. Allah says we give life with water, but water itself is lifeless. So it's easy to see that, yes, someone is giving life with lifeless water, because lifeless water itself can't give life. That's why I put them in 3 levels, because in the beginning, although we're calling on to God, we perceive God as separate from us. And then we get to know God more and we feel closer when we know Him with His beautiful names. But unless we totally surrender, and even the want and the need, He is making me want, and I stop, and what does it mean? He asks me to ask Him. But in the beginning it feels like I am asking Him. I versus God. I versus God. Until the I starts getting rid of the false assumptions we have about who we are, what our needs are, what our wants are. The more we shed, the higher the awareness, the more we become aware of who we are vis-a-vis God, and then there is no I want anymore anyways. We also know that we need to trust. However, how is the trust going to develop and come in when we reach a certain perception, a certain understanding, a certain attitude, and we choose to surrender accordingly? That new knowingness, that new beingness is going to be an embodiment of those du'as, rather than me making a du'a hoping that it will be accepted, and if it is not accepted, I will be patient. It is true, it is one level, it is level 2, and it is still part of our journey, but there is something that makes us feel still there is something. If you feel that there is still something missing, it means you are being prepared to a higher level of awareness, of surrender. They are all steps in the right path. So I start now consciously listening. It says, have you considered all things that you call other than God? Health could be one of them. My health is very important. Some people are really, really focused on health, like some people focused on money and wealth or on something else. Show me what they have created anywhere on earth. It means it's like stop, pause, reflect. These things that you are so attached to, remember, horizontally. Because when we come into the world, unless we consciously revisit and re-question our horizontal relationship with everything else, it seems like it's universal. That's how it is. But actually it is not. It seems like water is giving me this. It seems like food is what I like. Why? Because it's food that's giving me this. It's delicious, it's pleasure. But is it true? If food was the source, then the more I eat, the more pleasure. No. Without hunger, that food wouldn't be food. Why is this not food? Because I don't have a need, a hunger for it. And the same food I eat, I am full. I can't even see it if I eat a little bit too much. That food, without thinking, I think it itself is what I need. But without the hunger, I wouldn't even look at it. So just second, start reflecting and revising everything else around us. Is the food delicious? No, the same food after I'm full, it's not delicious anymore. And it says, call those you set up besides God. They do not control even the weight of a speck of dust in heaven or earth, nor do they have any share of them. These are very profound truths, and they need reflections at different levels. But the more we realize this, the more things start changing. My relationship with food, I start questioning. It doesn't mean that now I don't need water. I'm not going to drink water anymore. No, my relationship with water is going to transform. How I view this water is going to transform. This water is not something that exists independently on its own, like I don't exist independently. And this water, it says Arshullah is on water. All the names of God you can see in this water, starting with Al-Hayy, the living one that gives, the giver of life. You need to taste it and reflect for days. What does it mean? We are connected. We are connected through something very, very deep, through the divine. Lots of things are coming through this water. It's like a mirror. Lots of things are being reflected on this water. The same water, we all drink it. It works perfectly. It never makes a mistake. We make mistakes, it doesn't. You give it to animals, all kinds of animals. Does it ever make a mistake? Give it to insects, never makes a mistakes. It's in rivers and oceans, under the ground, everywhere, it never makes a mistake. It knows the anatomy of everything, all kinds of plants. It goes in the ground, on earth, everything. It never makes a mistake. How come this? There is no way. This must be reflecting something. It is a mirror to something. Then my relationship with it, it is an ayah. It is a messenger from God. It's speaking about God. Actually, it's not speaking about God. It is God speaking to me through it. So the more I interact with it, reflecting here is living, tasting, wondering, being at awe, going into prostration. Subhanallah, what's going on? MashaAllah, Tabarakallah, every day. And then the Prophet ﷺ says, do not waste it. Of course, so precious. Can I just throw it, waste it? I can't. This is something so precious. It is food for the body and cleaning, but that's only the tiny tip of the iceberg, which is food for the ruh, the spirit. It is a herald of the eternal words of the hereafter. The words of the beautiful names are being disclosed to me. It's like a window onto the beautiful names. But that's not in level 1. In level 1, we are still, Allah is telling us, look, this thing cannot help you. Do you understand? Can you see? Does it have anything to help you? No. So I start saying, something is going on. I never questioned my relationship with water. So we're learning a new way of thinking, of reasoning. And it says, such is God. He makes the night merge into the day and the day into the night. This is repeated a lot in the Quran. In the evening, in the morning, we see something is happening. A huge thing is happening, a huge power. He has subjected the sun and the moon. Each runs for an appointed term. Such is God, your Rabb. He's the one who takes care of everything. He's the one managing, controlling everything, taking care of everything. They are not doing it themselves. We don't think they are doing it. It happens. That's how it is. This is the solar system. This is whatever. We give it a name and we never stop and wonder. And so we don't feel the awe at the azama, the glory that is being displayed every day, day in, day out. All controls belongs to Him and to Him alone. Those you call other than Him do not even control the skin of the date stone. The date stone has a very thin skin on it. Not even that. It means zero control. The more we stay and reflect, when we start seeing that truly they have zero control, we are ready for level 2. Here also, those they call besides God cannot create anything since they themselves are being created. Isn't this being created? The molecule of water, if hydrogen and oxygen are not kept together, they cannot keep each other together. When heat comes, they cannot resist. They just evaporate. It's not like they have a will on their own and they are on purpose doing something. Someone is doing something through this. Someone is projecting here. That's why we need to remember. Dhikr is remember, remember, remember. The miracle of seeing is happening now. Understanding what I'm seeing. I have no idea how it's happening, but it's a miracle. It's not something we can understand through intellectually trying to understand. We can get the data. The more data you see, how many millions neurons and things are working for this to happen, the more we are at awe. But the awe and the reflection is something that we need to pause and feel. Stay with it. Stay with it. And the more we stay with it, the more it is in the fitrah to be at awe. Usually what we do, we are at awe, we say, oh, and then go. Being at awe is in the fitrah. That's not iman. Being at awe and then wondering where this is coming from and looking at this, that this thing itself can't be doing it. Someone is in charge of all this. That's the beginning of iman. Because we think, for instance, if I eat something delicious, I appreciate it. So I feel gratitude. I say, oh, alhamdulillah. If I say alhamdulillah consciously, okay. But if I'm saying it and I think being happy with the delicious food is the gratitude of a mu'min, no. The cat also is very happy when you give it something. Gratitude is from God. He is the Shakir, He is the Shakur. Shakir and Shakur are used for human beings and as names of God, because He is the one who makes us appreciate. How would I know I appreciate it? So I'm at awe. The mu'min is first at awe. The appreciation, the deliciousness is coming from somewhere else, and the appreciation of the deliciousness is also coming from somewhere else. This is shahada. We are now just at awe and watching these miracles and experiencing these miracles and becoming ourselves the mirror to these beautiful names of God. And so eventually I will understand that what I'm hungering for and what the appreciation, the deliciousness is not the food, but the deliciousness is the ruh, because the body is not feeling anything. It's the heart and the ruh, the spirit and the soul. They appreciate the provider, the creator, the maker, colors, the former. So it's all appreciation from Him for Him. It's like the shifa, the healing. It's health. Just like food, hunger is for food for the body, and the beautiful names that come with the food for the ruh, the health itself is also the healer. I am so, let's say, healthy. When I'm healthy, I take it for granted because that's how we are created. We are created with the beautiful names of God. We long for them. We love them so much that we don't even realize something is extra unless we pause and reflect and ask questions. And the best way to shake us up, give us a little bit of hunger for the health, is when something starts aching, something. We say it's a lack of health. It's a lack of shafi, of the healer manifesting in my body, reflecting in my body. It's like a part of the writing is not showing somewhere. The healer is not fully manifesting in me. And because we are created, we come from Him. He breathes of His own spirit into us. Then being away from Him makes us anxious. We want to be close. In the beginning, it seems like I want the healer. Health has to be there in order to leave, my anxiety to leave. No, that's my imagination, my not yet understanding what health is. Even when I say the healer, because I still imagine myself away from the healer when there is no health, I still feel the anxiety. The third level is when there is never been a separation from the healer. It's only me who thought I was a separate and independent, and He is giving me health. He is giving me, I am taking. He is giving me, but not in the way I think. It's more in the way of the reflection. I don't take it and go away with it. I'm always receiving, and so if I receive a lot of health, less health, He's always the healer, and I'm always the reflector, the mirror to the healer. I am never separated. So level 1, they cannot create. Only one God creates. I only call unto Him. There is a gradual getting closer to God, a gradual iman increasing. That's why the Quran is ever renewing and refreshing. It's because first we read it, there is only one God, nothing creates anything. In the beginning, it's all about out there. It's very difficult to start with myself. That's coming slowly. And that's how here, who is taking care of me? Now it's about me as well. He's saying it's your Rabb. Before it was all Rabb al-Alameen. He is the sustainer, the Lord of all worlds. But now, that sustainer of all worlds, he is also my Rabb. In the beginning, I also take it as I am independent, separate, but he is the one who helps me. So worship him alone. Worship God. You have no God, no deity, nothing to ask help from other than him. It is he who brought you into being from the earth and made you inhabit it. So ask forgiveness for him and turn back to him. My Rabb is near. Inna Rabbi qareebun mujib, and ready to respond. It's interesting here because we see plants and all kinds of animal life and things coming. He says, no, you are also brought up from earth. We are made from earth and minerals. In the beginning, as if we're watching everything else. No, you are part of this. And Ibrahim alayhi salam, the well-known dua is الذي خلقني فهو يهدين والذي هو يطعمني ويسقين وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. So Rabbul Alameen is the one, the Rabbul Alameen outside, he is the one, he is my Rabb as well. It means he's creating me now. Someone is breathing life into me right now, and who guides me, and who gives me to eat and to drink. It's not the water, it's not the food. He's saying he is. He is the one who cures me when I fall ill. So God is the provider, God is the healer. Now when I start seeing God like this as taking care of me, the beautiful names of God start making more sense. Seeing it outside, God is all-knowing, all-powerful. And then I go into my life and it has something happens, I panic. Didn't we say he was in control of everything? But because it remains outside, it's still difficult to bring it into our own private little sphere. But now it's saying he's your Rabb, he's taking care of you. There is also another level. In the beginning, my needs was, when I'm ill, I need health. When I'm hungry, I need food. When I'm poor, I need wealth. If I'm in danger, I need also help. But then I realized that now it's not only in those, from time to time, in those special occasions. All the time he's taking care of me. And in the beginning we cannot see that because it seems like everything is happening horizontally. Things are taking care of me. I don't even question it. It just happens. That's how things happen. So giving us needs is something that we use. Now I make dua. Now I find someone who hears me, answer my needs, and then lo and behold, I found that actually he is the one who is taking care of me all the time. I was not even aware of it. And lo and behold, I have so many needs. I need air, I need water, I need the whole earth to be like this, I need gravity, I need so many things. I'm not even aware of them. I don't think about them. If there was no gravity, we wouldn't be able to sit down like this. I need sleep. We think of the food, but it's not only the food, it's also the digestive system. It's not only the air, but it's also all the lungs and everything, the blood cells. I think I am cleaning my body, but actually inside is huge. I don't even know how to clean it. And alhamdulillah that it's not left to me. But the fact that I'm given the awareness to clean my body, I realize that someone is cleaning inside everything all the time. We can also see it outside, like in forests and everything. So now I realize the scope of my needs is much wider than how I thought, and therefore that Rabb is not like an occasional Rabb. He's a Rabb all the time, and I need him all the time. So the dua's function is now, it became, all my life is dua. Every breathing is dua. I was not aware of it. But now, every breathing, even my life is actually a prayer, a dua, and it's been answered all the time. If we stay at level 2, this gives us more, we get to know God more intimately and therefore trust him more. And since he's the one who already is taking care of my needs, when something special happens, I don't go into despair easily because I know that I have experienced him time and again. He is taking care of me. And that's why now I can call on him by his beautiful names. When I say, you are the healer, It's different than saying, please give me health, please give me health. There is doubt. What if he doesn't? But when I say healer, if I really am saying you are the healer, then it's very different, because now health is coming directly from him, and the focus is not on the health, but on the source of the health. So even if it's not given today or in this life, he is the healer. The source of health for eternity is with him, and all that anxiety starts disappearing.